Good morning. Today it is not Leza Live. It is Liz Alive.
Liz Alive?
Liz Alive.
I like it.
Yes. I had her permission.
Liz Alive.
She approved it, yes. Although we will be talking about a lot of death, so it might be Liz Alive and Dead.
Okay, that'll work. Now,
I think that
Liz
works.
Dead.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
got
I'm
it.
Liz Rogers sitting in for Leza this morning. She is in California, hopefully not in the Palisades.
Yeah, I'm not sure where she's going. Somewhere Southern California. I was asking yesterday specifically if she was flying into LAX, and she said, "Oh heck no."
Good.
So that's good.
Yeah. I've been watching those videos from the fires, just doom scrolling. There was one yesterday I saw where a gentleman was inside his gorgeous house with glass on all four sides, and he's looking out, and there's fire on all four sides.
That's terrifying.
It was really scary. I had to go to the comments and make sure he got out
Yeah.
because that was what I needed to know.
What do you do with something like that?
Well, that's the part that annoyed me. They didn't say how he got out,
Ugh.
but he did. He was safe. But it's just terrifying to see all of this.
Well, and you know, Drew is from Southern California, so he's quite familiar.
Well, I talked to quite a few of my buddies, and they said it's been unreal. But the picture you saw, that was his video camera that was in the house. So that's why you saw it. But the guy was actually out of the house. Okay.
But he was speaking. So was it voiceover later, maybe? Oh, good.
Probably.
Oh, good.
But,
that makes me feel better.
That one trailer park that was on the side of PCH,
Mm-hmm.
a buddy of mine actually owned that back in the day.
Oh.
And I mean, I spent a lot of time on PCH. It's gone. There's when I say there's nothing left, just sweep it up and throw it out. Gone.
That's what I'm
It's
seeing.
really a shame. And now the fires are getting up towards the San Gabriels, which is not good because that's where the winds
Right.
come down through the valleys. Right there. And I'll tell you what, got to pray for those people. They got some real issues.
That's just terrifying.
And of course, no water in the fire hydrants is the biggest one.
Right.
How you going to put it out? Or you got no water? I mean, that is just.
And I saw that we had some CAFMA folks heading over.
Yes, we did.
Some local
Yeah.
firefighters, so we'll be thinking of them and hoping they come home safe too.
Yeah, it's really a shame. This has been a real debacle, and for the people of California, now they can look at what their choices are,
Right.
and what they voted for and what they did. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, how do you not have water in your hot fire hydrants?
Yeah, it's true. There are a lot of Californians here. I'm sure they're watching it. I'm always fascinated by how people got to Prescott. It's not really a major hub.
Right.
And I have talked to some people with some amazing pasts that have ended up here. As you know, I do a lot of theater stuff, and one of my directors was actually a music producer for a band, They Might Be Giants, and
Wow.
he lives here.
Huh.
And I've talked to some folks who run theaters in Albert Hendo, who's got a play opening tonight. He ran a theater in Southern California for years, and people just end up here. Personally, I moved to the Valley and came up here one day to get out of the heat, fell in love with it, fell in love with Prescott, and I turned to my now ex-husband and said, well, I don't know about you, but I'm staying. And I did. I moved up here with no job, no place to live, 2 babies under 2, and I've been here for over 20 years.
Was this when you were living in your car like we were talking about earlier?
Well, no, and it never came to that. But I was at Kenley Park with my tiny little children. They were toddlers. They were 1 and 2 years old, or almost 2. And there were some kids at the park, and one of them used a very colorful word. And one of the other kids says, hey, knock it off. There's kids around. Don't use language like that. And I thought, that's where I want to raise my kids, is a place where that matters. And it's true. Yeah. So I came up here. How did you get to Prescott, Matt?
Work. I lived in Arizona the bulk of my life. I was in New Mexico for a couple of years. But I came here to work for the Courier, and I had never been to Prescott before. I moved here. I had been to Flagstaff, Tucson, Winslow, you name it. I've been to most of the major towns, and I never went to Prescott. I just never really had a desire. I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. And then a job popped up, and I drove from New Mexico in one day and turned around and came back to interview, and, took several months, but I did finally end up getting here, and I've been here ever since.
Here you
That
go.
was 2007, so.
What about you, Drew?
I was working at a job in Phoenix the job I had was in California. We bought a plant out here. So I was plant manager over both the facilities. And one weekend, I just brought my bike out. I had to spend the weekend. So one day I drove down and did the southern routine, Tombstone and all that stuff. And the next day I went up and I was in Jerome and met another guy riding bikes. He asked me where I was going. And I said, I don't know. He goes, go to Prescott, go to the Palace. You'll find it. I'm like, okay. And I drove here, I pulled up in front and went, oh, I'm moving here. And
See,
took
it's
me
just
took
something
me
about
about
Prescott.
8 years to, get the kids out of school and so. But it was after that I was coming up here consistently all the time. I just fell in love with the place.
Yeah, there's something about the town. There's something about the people.
Yeah,
I,
it was.
I
just
still live in a
wonderful.
neighborhood where everybody waves when you're
Mhm.
walking or driving. It's still
That
very
must be
friendly.
nice.
It is. It's great.
Yeah,
They all say hi.
it's Mayberry.
Well,
It's
less
almost
so than
Mayberry.
it used to be, because like I said, I've been here for over 20 years, and I'm seeing changes. But at least in my little corner of the woods, it still is.
Well, all I can say is you'll really appreciate this if you go to any of the major cities on the West, be it San Diego, L.A., the Bay Area, Sacramento, Portland. All you got to do is go visit those places, and you can't get back here fast enough.
It's very true. Very true. Well, today is Thursday, January 9th. It's a little chilly out there, but our winter snow is come and gone, I think.
That's what they said, yeah.
I think we're done. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's it.
Did you get any at your house? I know I don't think I got anything.
I was actually downtown, and I was coming out of an audition, and I went, hey, it's actually snowing. It actually showed up. And then an hour later, it was done.
Well, so Ma Hinshaw, who we talked about earlier, she's a celebrity in Prescott, even though she doesn't live here.
Very famous.
They got snow in my hometown, and they never get snow, ever.
She's down in Sierra Vista,
Sierra
right?
Vista. Yeah,
Yeah.
she sent me a
Yeah.
picture. She's like, can you believe it? We got snow. And it stuck. It wasn't much of anything. If it basically makes the ground look white, that's called snow down there.
Gotcha.
And
You
so
can
that's
still
what
find
they
your
got.
golf ball.
Yes, you can, but it's, yeah. So I was shocked that they were colder and got snow before we did.
Did the grocery stores get cleared out of bread and milk because of that quarter-inch of snow coming?
I'll have to ask her, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, being Thursday, January 9th, and we talked about this a little earlier, that it is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So I believe tonight all of the trees around the square will be blue in support.
Yeah, what time are they doing that? 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, something like that.
I think it's 6,
Yeah.
but I'm guessing.
Yeah, something like that. I don't
Sometime after the
remember.
sun goes
Yeah,
down.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, did you also know that it's National Balloon Ascension Day?
No.
Well, but it is. And even more importantly, it is National Static Electricity Day.
That's important right there.
Well, I think that goes well with the balloons.
Yeah.
Because, you just rub the balloon against your head and shock people and run around in fuzzy socks on carpet so you can... Am I the only one with siblings?
No,
No, we got in fights. We just beat each other up.
Oh, see, yeah, we weren't allowed to do that.
Well, neither were we, but my sister still did it.
My sister likes to say that I hit her once. She hit me. I hit her first. I hit her harder. She hit me back. She got in trouble. I was the baby.
Well, that's very much me.
You can't hit the baby.
Yeah, I was the middle. And I had an older sister. I have an older sister and a younger sister. And my dad still talks about it to this day. He used to warn my younger sister, he's going to be bigger than you one day, because my younger sister was bigger than me and would pick on me.
And then eventually
And
it
I
caught
am a
up.
lot bigger than her now. Oh, yeah.
Now, my older brother had a different approach. He never hit us that I know of, or at least not that I remember. He might have knocked it out. But he liked to see where we would fit.
Oh,
So
like,
he put my sister in a dog carrier,
interesting.
and I got put into a dining room table. You know, one of those tables with an empty base and then like a marble slab on top?
Yeah.
So I got put in there.
What about like a dryer?
No, never in the dryer. I think it was a raised dryer, so he would have had to lift us up.
Yeah,
Not too
yeah.
much work.
Because, yeah, I would love to hear the thunk.
I think that would bring us back to National Static Electricity Day
See?
because the hair, especially my hair, would not come out of the dryer well.
That's true. If you make it through the couple rotations.
But I'd be nice and soft.
True.
As long as there was a fabric softener in there, I'd be in good shape. Apparently, it is also National Apricot Day, but that's just not as much fun.
No,
I like apricots,
they're fine.
but that's all I got as far as what January 9th equals.
well, we have one more. Today is the National Day of Mourning for the 39th President, Jimmy Carter.
That is true,
Correct.
but that was not scheduled. So I couldn't help with that.
Okay, well, I'm just letting our listeners know. Flags at half-mast all day today.
Well, and they have been for a while. I thought it was 3 days, but it seems like it's been longer. Is it a longer setup if it's a former president?
My understanding is they had the flags at half-mast at where they brought the body. But today is an actual national, across the board. Stock exchange is closed today, so it's a big day.
Yeah. And he's being moved today. Correct. The actual ceremony is
His
today, right?
funeral, yeah.
Yeah,
everything.
and then he goes to Plains, Georgia, to be with his wife, Rosalind.
Yeah, it was on the news before I came in this morning. That's what was going on all the channels.
Oh, gotcha. The live feed.
Yep.
I remember that's the first memory I have of a political event was Carter and Ford. And it was only because my father couldn't spell. So he wanted me to say I was going to vote for Ford because it was easier to spell than Carter. And I'm really hoping that's not how he made most of his political decisions, but he was never a good speller.
Yeah.
Great with numbers, not a good speller.
All right, we'll have to take that.
Fair enough. Nowadays, I think he makes decisions a little bit better, but I do remember that.
Good.
So today we are going to have Ron Lunt come and visit. He is the co-creator of the Prescott Mystery Company. We are the ones who put on the Prescott Mystery Dinners at the Elks. He is better at these statistics, but I think we have done 14 different murders, and every single one of them sells out.
Well, I mean, I would be down for seeing a murder.
You got to get your tickets now. They're already halfway sold out.
Already halfway sold out. Oh, they'll probably be sold out by the end of the show.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes, right? Those things sell out quick.
The next one is in the middle of March. It is on March 14th and 15th, and it is called The Eyes of March, not the Ides. The Eyes of March.
That is already starting to sound a little terrifying.
It should. It should indeed. Yes, we're very concerned that somebody is going to look up our search history at some point because we Google a lot of weird things to put these together.
Yeah, I would recommend getting a VPN.
I go to his house, so it's on his Wi-Fi.
That's fine.
So mine's clear.
Or the library.
The library, that's a good point. Although I'm always a little worried about what I see people looking up at the library.
Exactly. So yours would blend right in.
That's probably true, although we don't look up naked people very often, and I have walked past that at the library, and I think that's a little concerning.
Well, everybody's got to have a hobby. I mean,
I
come on,
guess so.
Liz.
I'm a big library person. I am at the library a couple times a week. I am one of those rare people. I have my 14-digit library barcode memorized.
Wow.
I haven't carried my library card in 10 years because I just type it in and go.
That's impressive.
But yeah, those computers I think probably need to be sanitized.
I'm hoping they do it every night.
That would be good. That would be a
the
good idea.
best,
We need
yeah.
to get the new director of library services out here. We got to ask her.
That'd be great. Yeah, I don't think we've had her on it ever.
Well,
Not in the
and
time
she's-
I've been
Well,
here.
she's fairly new. She's taken on the job in the last few months, last 6 months or so.
Well, yeah, just anyone from the library, I think.
Well, let's see if there's anybody out there from the library listening. Give us a call and tell us how often the computers are
The
sanitized.
computer terminals are hosed down. Yeah.
That's just too scary. But I'm actually very glad that the library is still around. I think that's one of those services that doesn't get enough attention.
Every single time I've been there, it's always quite a few people in there. So
It's a great place to go, especially we only have a couple of bookstores in town.
true.
And so it's nice to see that there are still those places and they take donations and they've got their book sale. So you can always go in and buy their books at a very reasonable price. We're talking like $1 or less, which you won't find in any of the brand new bookstores. But
No, I frequent one of them all the time. So
all right. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Oh, I did read this very interesting thing this morning that apparently I think it's Belgium and Sweden are arguing about whether or not it is safe to eat Christmas tree pine needles.
I don't know if that's something. Why?
Well, because
the government is doing this?
yes, Sweden said it was safe, and I think Belgium came back and said it wasn't safe. I want to know who started this in the first place? Who was snacking on their Christmas tree?
I want to know how much this costs their people.
That's a good question, too.
I mean, that seems like a lot of, what do they call it, Drew? Pork? Like a whole lot of pork right there.
You know, you're looking at this and going, this makes no sense. Hey, I got an idea. Let's go eat some pine needles. If the animals aren't eating it, you don't eat it. That's pretty much the rule of thumb.
Well, now the Heritage Zoo was looking for the old live trees to give to their animals for enrichment activities. So I have to assume they're going to eat some of those. And I have a friend who makes pine needle tea.
Well, that's something that's very common in camping, because you can just boil some water, put a little in there, and it gives it some type of flavor, and it's not bad for you.
Is
But
it a good flavor?
It's not that good, dear. It
Very
really
Christmassy.
isn't. You know,
Very seasonal.
when you watch the survival shows, that's why they have it, to show you, okay? Because the water you're boiling is probably not going to taste that good, so you put some pine needle in it and you get something out of it. But
Okay.
no, thank you.
Well, if anybody out there is making pine needle tea, I'd like to hear about that too. Maybe
Or-
there's a recipe.
Or anything else with pine needles?
Yeah.
That's true. Pine needle casserole?
Maybe. Pine needle filet mignon? I don't know.
That would be the vegan option.
That's the vegan option.
All right, I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Ron will be joining us, and we will start talking about bloody, gory murders.
Woo!
Back this morning. Good morning. I am joined now by my friend and co-serial killer, Ron Lunt. Good morning.
Good morning, Liz.
So we started talking earlier about how people got here to Prescott, and I know you are a Wisconsinite. How did you end up here?
Well, I needed to escape the cold and winters of Wisconsin and the mosquitoes. They go hand in hand. When you don't have cold, you have mosquitoes, and one will get you, the other one will get you also. I got to the point in my life where it was time to retire, so looking for places. My wife's sister lives in Prescott, so we came up here for a visit. My daughter ended up going to ASU, so hey, okay. If I got to send her money, I figured if I do it, in state, it's probably cheaper. So
So you could send less money.
It didn't really work out that way, it seems like. I don't know what happened, but about 10 years ago, we ended up moving here. Knew her sister and husband, and that was it in town. And that was literally all the people we knew. Everybody else that became friends, we learned through theater and shows as we do. And that's been it. Couldn't ask for a better retirement. It's been a lot of fun.
Now, the most complaints I've heard about the lack of Wisconsin here is the lack of good cheese curds.
Yeah. We had to introduce a few people about the Nirvana, something from the gods that they've given us, and that is deep fried cheese curds, which, it should be bad for you, but emotionally it's really good for you.
No, they're still bad for you.
No, I've never had a bad cheese curd, so I can't believe they're bad for you. I've actually we had a party a few weeks ago, and you were invited. Did you manage to get?
I was there. Yeah, thanks for noticing.
Yeah, well, you took a couple cheese curds, and I kind of keep track of that. Did you have any?
I did.
And
I did. Well, remember, I went to Wisconsin over the summer.
Yeah.
And I was told that I was not allowed to return if I did not have cheese curds.
That's a heck of a threat right there.
Well, yes, and because of the nature of our relationship, it could come true.
And what did you think?
Now, it's surprising because I know like Culver's will have cheese curds, and they're very heavy, but they're not in Wisconsin. When they're fresh, they're really not. You would think deep fried cheese would be heavy, but it wasn't.
No,
It was surprisingly light and fluffy, and they were quite good. But no, I could not eat in whole order.
I've never heard anyone describe them as fluffy. That's interesting, but okay, we'll go with that.
Just think of onion rings, like the really good ones, but with cheese instead of onion.
All right.
So then what should they call our cheese curds here
Well,
at Culver's and Buffalo Wild Wings and places like that?
Imposters.
Imposters.
Yeah.
Imposter curds.
well, there went that sponsorship. So one of the things that I mentioned to Matt is that our Google search history tends to be a little concerning if anybody were to come across it. And it occurred to me that it's not just when we're writing those murders, because I actually looked up the strangest ways that people died in 2024. And so far I've gotten there was death by coconut, death from laughter, execution by an elephant, and an actual case of spontaneous human combustion. We haven't used any of those yet.
Wow. Okay, so we can add that to
We've
our
got
list.
some ideas.
Yeah. We did have death by pineapple.
We did have death by pineapple. I was
Yeah.
just going to say the
Yep.
same thing. We were in a rehearsal session for an earlier murder, and one of our actors happened to mention that she was deathly allergic to pineapple. And Ron and I went, oh, well, now we know.
Sold.
So we killed her by pineapple.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking death by elephant, like that's an untapped market right there. When the circus is in town, I mean, you could do the murder at the circus. I mean, it would be huge.
Getting the elephant up to the third floor of the Elks might be a challenge.
Well, no, I'm saying like they usually do it at Findlay, so maybe partner up with Findlay,
That's
do
true.
it over there.
A giant circus murder. Clowns are pretty creepy.
Oh, yeah. That would be a big draw.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, I would think so. Do they have shops in town where they sell elephants, or we can rent them, or how does that work?
A rented elephant. Do you have to pay by the pound?
I hope not, because
That'll
our
be a lot.
budget is
Yeah, our budget is not that big.
Yeah, it's zero.
So we kind of started in the middle here, but the Prescott Mystery Company has been around now for about 3.5 years.
Sounds about right. Yep.
And what we do is we create murder mystery dinners that are immersive theatrical experiences. One of the things I think we focus well on is the details. So when somebody comes into an event, they're at the place, the venue, because there's been different ones, for an actual event. We did a wedding where we had people come in. They had to sign the guest book. They put knots in the hand fasting ribbon. We had Jordan almonds to give away to everybody. And I could hear people whispering to each other, I think we're crashing somebody's wedding. And then we killed the officiant and the bride. So it's a very immersive experience. You're not sitting and watching a stage play. From the second you walk in, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the characters, to the surroundings, or you're going to miss the clues. Because we always give it away. It's always obvious to us who is going to, A, be murdered, and B, who did it.
That's true. That's true. I think it's a unique experience because in Prescott especially, there's a lot of entertainment, a lot of plays, a lot of music. For music, you can dance, obviously, but you're not interacting so much with the entertainment itself. We give that, and I think that's the draw for a lot of people. They really enjoy The people that continue to come back, and we have a lot of them, they recognize us from other shows, and sometimes they try to say, "Hey, weren't you at a wedding a few weeks ago where you killed somebody?" And no, I don't know what you're talking about. But I think they really enjoy coming back and seeing our characters, and they don't have a problem with the same people more or less being the characters, because we're different characters every time. It's just the same people. But I don't ever remember any of our actors breaking character while they were being, well, okay, you might have done it to me one time.
Ron swears he never, ever breaks. Swears. So that made it a mission. So we did a show where he portrayed an actor who was very fond of himself. He was wearing a shirt which had his own picture on it. That was his costume.
I did not buy that shirt.
No, I bought it for him.
Yeah.
But I was portraying his devoted fan, stalker. And at one point, I left the room and I came back and I had changed into a floor-length dress that had his face on it.
Oh, my gosh.
I hadn't told him I was going to do that. Hadn't mentioned it to anybody. So when I came out and he saw it, that was the entire cast actually broke that time because I hadn't told anybody it was coming. And it was not a good picture, and it was not a good dress, and it was just horrifying.
Question. My imagination is running wild. Is it just like life-sized face, or was it the length of the dress?
It was many faces.
Many faces.
The same face over and over and over from shoulder to floor.
Picture a Hawaiian shirt. Instead of having pineapples, my face was replaced pineapples.
Got it.
My wife does not allow me to wear that shirt anywhere, even in the house. If I was to wear it hanging around the house, she would probably move out.
And I did offer her the dress, and
and
I changed again into another shirt that had his face on it because there was a color theme going on, and once we killed the person wearing green, I put on the green shirt with his face on it. She didn't want that either.
I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that she didn't hurt either one of us.
Now, I have accidentally caught it out of the corner of my eye in my closet, and it has scared me a lot.
Oh, you still own it.
I
was
still
gonna say,
have the dress.
I would think you would have donated that to Salvation Army or something.
I
there's
couldn't
some
do
random
that to
dude.
somebody.
But yeah, who do you think would pick up that shirt? That would be bizarre. If I'm walking downtown and I see someone walking around in that shirt or some woman in that dress, and oh my God, that would be bad.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with more with Ron. And we are back on the unofficial Liz Alive, one time only. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll be asked back.
I'm sure you'll be asked back. I mean,
never know.
Liz Alive, or I kind of like it like Lizzo, but you're Liza.
Yeah, I don't think I have the qualifications to be Lizzo. You do not want to hear me sing.
You've heard us sing. It's awful.
It's true. I could
Drew
join
is
in.
the best at all of us.
Oh, well, good to know. All right, if we name a choir in our murder, and we actually have had live music
We have, yes.
in one of our murders. One of the things that's really interesting about the Prescott Mystery Company and the murder mystery dinners we put on, as Ron mentioned, we have regulars that have come to every single one. So it does make it harder and harder to fool them, but they just can't wait to come back. At the end of our last one, which was Halloween weekend, we said we'd be back in March, and there was an audible groan from the audience. They were so disappointed that there wasn't going to be a show for 6 months.
Well, I would think like Christmas time would be a great time to do a murder mystery, but granted, with all the other things going on, it'd probably be tough to sell out. So.
We've thought about that. We've kind of cornered Halloween and the Ides of March as the major holidays. We do one in the summer, and I was actually contacted by somebody who comes back to visit Prescott in the month of July.
Yep.
And last year we did it in June, and I got an email. No, you need to do it in July. We're coming to Prescott to see this, but we can't come until July. So this year we're doing it in July, just for them and
Wow.
everybody else. The other thing is that the actors that we get in the murders, as soon as they've done one, they want to do another. We have a couple of folks who get mad at us when we don't have a role for them, and then we worry about becoming victims ourselves. But there's so much talent in this area, and they're not scripted as much as outlined. So then it's up to the actors to really develop and create the characters, and so they have a lot of fun with it. But because it's an interactive performance, they're never off stage. There's never a break, and they watch, and they try. They'll call you by the wrong name to see if you respond. They'll interview various characters to see if they can connect the dots and see if anyone's going to screw up, and so far nobody else has. Just me. That happens occasionally. We have taken the show on the road. We like to say we are also contract killers because we are available for hire.
Nice.
So we performed at what was the Mogollon Vineyard, which is now for sale.
I believe,
We
yes.
could buy a murder vineyard.
Yeah, that might be a little bit beyond our budget. Yeah.
Your budget. I still work. You're retired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true.
So the next show will be at the Elks Performing Arts Center, but I have been in conversation with Touchmark. They might want to do one at their venue, so they might hire us to come out and murder some of their residents, I guess. Maybe it's overcrowding. I don't know.
Do you charge extra for murdering residents?
You know, actually, this whole thing started because I wanted to bring a murder mystery to the Elks. And I started researching existing mystery companies out of Phoenix, and it was so expensive to bring them up.
Huh.
They wanted to charge around $3,500, and they were going to bring us 3 actors, and we would still have to provide a venue. We'd still have to provide a menu. I would have to charge people so much that it just wasn't worth it. So instead, we decided to write them and just found this niche, and some of the stories have worked better than others. What's been your favorite murder so far?
I think the wedding.
The wedding?
The wedding one was...
Was that because we made you a lot younger? We made him shave his beard.
Yeah, that didn't go over.
What?
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was a bizarre thing, too.
His wife was not happy with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't shaved mine in 10, 15 years. At least some kind of facial hair has been on there.
It wasn't as bad. I had to do a show. I did a Shakespeare show at the old PCA, and I had to shave my beard, basically just really go short and dye my hair blonde. And that didn't go well at all. I thought it was a good look, and all pictures of me in that show have been destroyed by my wife. So,
Well, this time he had brown hair,
Yeah.
and that one was good. I think my favorite was called A Look to Die For. And what it was a corporate launch party for a makeup line. And in order to sell the makeup line, we had a live demonstration, and the makeup had been tainted, and we melted her face off.
Wow.
And then while she was dying, somebody else was killed by makeup brush. And what was amazing about this, and I know we're going to go to a break, but I'm just going to tell you this part, nobody saw it happen. We killed him at the table. We got blood on a couple of patrons' outfits. And they're sitting right next to him, didn't see it happen. And it turned out the cop was dirty.
Oh.
So that was fun. That was my
I
favorite.
was going to say the makeup thing. That reminds me of the original Batman. Batman 1989, the movie. That's how the Joker took over.
Yes.
I thought, wait a minute. I thought he fell in a puddle of acid. I'm not going to argue movies
no,
with you.
but that's how he was killing people in town was tainted makeup.
I think I remember that.
I don't remember that. We stole ideas and didn't even realize it.
Well, kind of. Not really.
All right.
but-
We're going to go punish ourselves on break, and then we'll be right back. And we are back. We've been talking about Batman and stealing ideas. And then Matt came up with this thing that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, that the original Batman movie and was actually after the original Beetlejuice movie.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, Beetlejuice came out in 88. Batman came out in 89.
And if you think about it, Beetlejuice has now had one sequel, and Batman has been remade or had how many sequels?
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, I consider the second Batman Returns. Tim Burton originally was going to do a trilogy. He only did the two with Michael Keaton. The third one we all know that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I still, Michael Keaton, you know, everybody has, you can tell how old someone is when you ask them what their Batman is.
Oh.
And Michael Keaton is my Batman. Like, I love Adam West. I love everyone that's played Batman, but Michael Keaton is who I think of when I hear the word Batman.
I would agree.
Yeah?
Yep.
Now, see, I was always a big Val Kilmer fan, but not as Batman.
No.
Yeah, no, he was, no.
No.
Yeah.
But I really loved him back in his old movies when he was playing the blonde ditzy guy. Not the, what am I thinking? Real Genius.
Real Genius. That was a great film.
Movie.
Yes.
Loved that one.
A lot of fun.
But so apparently we stole ideas from the 1989 Batman movie without knowing we did so. Are you personally a fan of murder mysteries? Do you read them? Do you watch them?
We actually attended one. Our family, when we lived in Wisconsin, we went to, I think, Minnesota, Minneapolis, and saw one there.
A murder mystery
A
dinner?
murder mystery dinner, and wasn't entirely impressed.
Ours are better.
Oh, no doubt. Without question, ours are better. We sat at a high-top table, the four of us, daughter and son, and the actor came over and talked to us for a couple minutes and then went on, and then we didn't really know what was going on. There really wasn't a whole lot of activity, a lot of discussion, and then they said someone died and this is who did it. And I'm thinking, okay.
That was fun.
Yeah, I just wasted some money there. What I like about ours is all our storylines are unique.
Definitely. We create a new story for each one. None of them are recycled or repurposed. We're not going venue to venue and selling the same show.
Right.
And we do have a lot of audience members who don't know what they're in for.
That's true.
That's always a lot of fun when the wife buys the tickets and doesn't tell the husband.
And that has happened. We've had people, I've talked to people. We managed to hit every table and have extended conversations with a lot of the people who are there. And I've talked to people where they say, I think we're at the wrong event. Where is that play thing that someone gets killed? Sorry, this is a wedding. I don't expect anyone's going to die. Oh, look, someone just died. Look at that. So, oh well.
Now, we did get one complaint. In all the years we've been doing this, all the shows we've put on, we have had one complaint.
Oh, I'm anxious to hear this.
The concept was that it was a cast party for a stage production of a new play called Clue with a K.
Huh.
And the characters in the storyline included the actors, the director, the writer, the money people, and it was their cast party. So we asked all of our patrons to dress according to the color of the table that they were going to sit with, just like in the board game Clue. We didn't infringe on any copyright. We had Colonel Custard.
Of course.
And we had Ms. Mean, and they all wore green. And we had Mr. Black. And we had Miss Starlet. And so we asked them to wear red or yellow or green, and they sat in those tables. And at the end of the show, there was a complaint that they didn't get to see the play Clue with a K. Because our actors told them that we were going to open it at the ASU Theater at the Gamage, and they were very disappointed that it wasn't going to open in Prescott, and they complained about the fact. And I had to actually explain to them that that was just a conveyance for the story, that it wasn't real. There's no such play. This is the event.
Where did they complain? Was it on Yelp?
No, to me.
Oh, just directly to you?
Yes, at the end of the evening.
Must have been
They were
fun.
very upset that they didn't get to see.
There were a couple people also that approached me and said, how do we get tickets at the Gamage? And there was one lady in particular, I said, I really like you. You've been really supportive of my career. And I think I was probably the egotistical
Yes, you were.
actor. And I said, you've been so supportive of my career forever that I'm going to send a limo to your house. And we'll take you down there. We'll get you front row seats. You can meet the cast again.
They're still waiting.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't actually premiered yet, so we're going to wait
The
on that
death
one.
might have kind of skewed it a little bit. One of the main actors was killed, and yeah.
One of my favorite, and you alluded to it earlier, where we stabbed someone at the table. That was our first stabbing. That was our second stabbing, I think.
It happens.
But someone at the table actually got some blood because he splatters blood on himself as he stabbed himself, and she had blood on her arm. And I would happen to be the interrogator, the arresting officer, and started asking people, well, did you see what happened at the table? And they said, no, I didn't see a thing. And I says, well, excuse me, ma'am, but you have blood in your arm. Obviously, you were involved in this murder. You better stand up. And I put handcuffs on her. And her husband, I says, I'm going to have to arrest you. Her husband says, take her away.
They're
Okay.
pretty good with that.
So, yeah, we had fun with that one. She ended up getting released because I turned out to be the murderer. But, those things happen.
These things happen.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
When we come back from break, we're going to talk about the one that we did where we had a hard time convincing people that we were actors. When we'll come right back. We are back. We just have a couple minutes left. One of the shows that we did, like I mentioned, was at Mogollon Vineyard. And for that particular show, we kind of went in a different direction. And Ron and I were restaurateurs who were making a deal with the vineyard for our restaurant. And we had a hard time convincing the audience members that we didn't really have a restaurant. We made it up. We said it was in Sedona. We used my sister-in-law's maiden name because she's a lovely Italian woman and we were running an Italian restaurant. And we had people who were telling us that they had been there, that they celebrated their anniversary there. They were describing it to us. Oh, it's got that great piano in this alcove. And we're just sitting there going along with it. And they had no idea that they were part of an interactive murder mystery dinner show and that it was all made up.
There was one couple that was explaining to another couple how great the restaurant was and wanted them to come with them, the four of them to go. And they could you give us directions again, the new couple? And so they pulled up Google Maps on their phone and they said, can you, we don't really advertise. So once again, we'll send a limo. If I could have a limo service and send a lot of these customers to different places.
But it was hysterical because these other people are saying, oh, no, it's great. You got to go. I've been to their restaurant. It's amazing.
I'm just shocked it didn't inspire you to open a Sedona restaurant.
Again, money.
Yeah.
The
budget.
We were talking about that.
The
right?
budget didn't allow it.
We could open a full-time murder cafe.
Ooh.
and just kill people every day.
Every day. Yep. Yes.
We do get requests. We have a lot of folks who want, their exes signed up to be victims, but
That's an expensive ticket.
it is. Yes, and we would like to remain out of jail.
So this next show that we're doing is our 11th our 11th script.
11th script.
Shows 19 and 20,
All right.
and everyone has been sold out.
So if you don't have your tickets, you better hurry up and get them because they are going quickly. And you don't want to miss out. It's always a lot of fun. We have a great time doing it. Like I said, the audience comes back time after time. The actors want to come back time after time. And every evening is a unique experience.
Absolutely. We do the same show on Friday and Saturday.
But it's not the same show.
But it's not the same show. And the actors, after the show, they're having a good time because after Friday's show, everyone kind of stays around and helps clean up the
That's
crystal
true,
room.
which I appreciate because otherwise I have to do it.
Yeah, we were waiting. Are we actually employees of the Elks when we do that?
Just me.
Okay, yeah.
Just me.
Yeah, that's what. But we talk about what happened and what we can do better the next night or what we can do different. And we try to make these plans like, okay, someone asked me this question that I never thought of. And the next night it does come up, we get a completely different question.
Yeah, the audience is different. The reactions are different. We have, as we are cleared tables, seen complete flow charts and relationship maps of every character and everything that everybody said so they can try to find out. Even when we put the murderer right out there. One of our shows we did a little while ago was an art show, and the final painting revealed the murderer. Showed the murderer, showed his hands, showed how he died. Nobody figured it out.
So, Liz, on that, where do people get tickets for your next show?
Well, that's an excellent question, Matt. Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
At the Elks website, of course, Prescott Elks Theater, and that is spelled thefancyway.org. You can also call the box office. Stop by. We're happy to help any way we can, but PrescottElksTheater.org. And don't forget, tonight, we've got additional particulars back for a reprisal opening night tonight.
And you're sure I can't buy a ticket and pay extra to have you murder someone I don't want?
We're always up for options.
Okay, got it.
But you got to bring the person you don't want.
Yeah,
so then
that
you got to
might be
spend
difficult.
the evening with somebody and then...
And we would have to probably just wound them the first night because we'd want them to do a second show.
Yeah, it'd probably be really good.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Thanks so much for letting me sit in. Thanks for listening to Liz Alive.